It's back to more of the Business Edge on V1370.
Welcome back to the Business Edge. This is Angie Huffman of HFS Associates, and we're talking today about managing your cash flow in your business. And that is a big challenge for many small business owners. And as we've already said, usually small business owners, they're creative people. And I forget which side of the brain. I think that might be right side of the brain or left side. I'm not sure. But anyhow, they typically spend more time in that side of their creative side of their brain rather than the financial aspects of a business tend to be more of the opposite side of the brain, more concrete and structured. And so it is a challenge for many small business owners to manage the cash flow piece of their business. Okay, back to how to plan your cash flow, how to put together that plan. The pieces of the plan. The first piece we talked about is what is your fee structure? How do you need to price at what level do you need to price your services or products so that you can make sure you have a profit on those services? And again, that's going to be the main topic for next week's program called Pricing What You're Worth. Just know that this is a basic step in cash flow management, is knowing what you're going to charge and then figuring out when can you expect those revenues to come in? When do you expect to get your first landscaping client? And how many landscaping clients can you actually take care of in one season? Taking into account all those things. And also settling in on what are the services you are going to offer. If you're a landscaper and you don't want to offer lawn cutting services, you don't offer them. Or if you're going to offer them, at least price them at a rate that gives you some really good cash flow. The next piece of the cash flow management plan is how will you market your services and products? And more importantly, what will it cost you to do so? This is the biggest thing many small business owners forget, is that you really do need a solid marketing plan. And again, if this is not a skill set for you, and if you're a brand new business owner or even one that's been in business 4 to 5 years, this is, marketing is not my strong suit. And I have people I work with who are good marketers, and they know how to market your products and services. So those are the people I refer my clients to, the people I use myself for knowing how to best market my services. And any vehicle in which you use to market your services other than your time and word of mouth will cost you money. So you need to know at upfront how much is it going to cost you to market your business in such a way that gets you the business you're looking for, gets you those people who are going to pay the fees that you need to charge. And then how much will it cost you to deliver? Okay, so you've put together your marketing plan, and you know how much it's going to cost you. You're going to do this mailer blast in June, August, and November. You know it's going to cost you X dollars. You're going to do this advertising, that advertising. You're going to have a website designed, all of those kinds of things to help you market your business. Because again, as we said earlier, if you build it, they will not come if they don't know you're there. Then the next piece of the plan is figuring out, what do I need, truly need, not want, but what do I truly need to deliver the work once I get it? And how much will it cost me in upfront investment? So if Sandy had planned on that after 6 months of marketing her teaching sewing lessons services, that she would have on average 4 students in a class, then she knows she needs to have 4 sewing machines, at least, maybe 5. If the average is 4, maybe sometimes she has 5, sometimes she has 3. She knows she's going to need 4 ironing boards and so forth, or 5 ironing boards. And she figures that all out ahead of time, so that she knows how much is the total cost of the investment. How much space does she need? Does she really need to rent a large studio? If her plan, when she's figuring out where her customers are coming from, how many customers she can expect, is only calling for 3 to 5 sewing lesson clients in the first year, then maybe in the first year she can have rent only half the size of space that she would ultimately need. So she has to look at how much will it cost me in upfront investment? How much money do I have to put out? And then look at what are my regular ongoing expenses, the overhead. What's the gas and electric? What's the rent? And don't forget the once a year stuff like licenses, insurance, other kinds of things that you need to put money into to keep running your business. And I can tell you from my own experience, it's amazing how quickly those items add up and how you don't think about them until the bill either shows up, unless you make a conscious effort to sit down and plan all this out. Now, once you have all this data together, you know what those pieces of your plan, you need to put them together in a month-by-month format. So it's not just a year. It's all in one lump sum. It's a month-by-month. How much money am I going to need to spend on marketing in January in order to get the kind of business I need in July? How much money is my rent going to be month to month? When does my business license come up due? Okay, is that April? Is it May? Is it September? Okay, and if it's a pretty huge amount of money, for some people, even $1,000 is a lot of money to have to come up at one time. What particular month of the year is that going to happen? In Dan's case, when can he expect his best revenues? Well, it might be, from what I understand about the landscaping business, it's actually March. It starts in March and up until the hottest time of the year. Because during the hottest time of the year, well, you don't want to work out in that heat, and people are away on vacation, and since he's doing landscaping design and getting away from the maintenance kind of things, there's not as much of that going on during the summer months, and then he ramps up again for the fall. So, but he still has overhead to pay during the winter months, so he's got a plan for that, and you need to know when that happens. So what we worked out with Dan's plan, we discovered he was running into cash flow crunches year-round because he would incur lots of debt during the winter so that he could get through the winter months where there was no revenue coming in. And then he'd end up paying that debt in the summer, in addition to trying to figure out how is he going to pay his employees and other expenses. So we worked out a plan that reversed that trend, where he set aside some of the summer cash high flows, some of the months where he had extra cash, and for the winter months where he had low cash. But then you say to me, well, wait a minute, Angie, you told us he was already in debt and that's not going to go away. So how do we free up enough of cash flow in the summer so that he can set aside money for the winter months and then not incur new debt next winter? Well, what we figured out is he got rid of some work. You were like, what? He needs the revenue. Why did he get rid of some work? Well, what we did, we let go of the work, or he let go of the work that was not centered on what the core reason he had gone into business for. We discovered while completing his fee structure that the lawn cutting and weeding services were actually costing him money. By the time he paid for the equipment, sent the guys out there to do the work, it was actually costing him money. So he did two things. First, he raised his prices significantly. We more than doubled his fee for these items. And yes, he lost a good portion of his business, of that business. In this case, since it was costing him money to provide these services, good. I had a cleaning client, a commercial cleaner client one time that he did a really great job and he had lots of work, but his biggest client who gave him the most revenues each month was also actually costing him more. He was collecting about $1,200 a month from this client, but it was costing him $1,500 a month to deliver the service. When I told him he had to increase his fees, he says to me, in all seriousness, but then I'll lose the client. And I looked at him just as serious and said that would be a good thing because this client is costing you money. What he was able to do is he was able to raise the fees with the client. The client was so happy with his work that they were more than happy. They'd rather him stay in business to do the work. So that is essentially what we did with Dan as well. And Some of his clients were so happy with him doing the lawn cutting service that they could have it one-stop shop. Their landscaper also took care of the lawn cutting. Those that were willing to pay the higher fees, that part of his business, he then subcontracted to a company that specifically focused on lawn cutting and weeding services. They had figured out how to make money doing that service. So he increased his fees and then turned those contracts for those services to another company who was expert at delivering those services in a cost-effective manner. So he got work off of his plate, but was still able to increase his revenues. It was a win-win all around and increased his profitability. That way, he was able to create more cash flow during the summer by charging what he needed to charge and by getting non-core services off of his plate. He had less payroll costs, and he was able to focus on the landscaping design work that created most of the profit for him. The landscaping was a big money maker for him, a big profit maker for him, and it cost him the least to do it. So therefore, he was able to begin paying down his debt in the summer and set aside funds for the winter so that he did not need to keep going back into debt during the low cash flow periods. We need to go to a break, and we'll wrap this up in a few minutes. Angie Huffman, The Business Edge.